Hi everyone, this is Crystal, and today I am back with week 13 in my 2020 Project Life album. As you can see, I have way too many photos for this week, so I'm going to have to edit these down into something that will actually fit into this spread and then decide what I'm going to do with the rest of them. For supplies, I'm using a digital kit from Brandi Kincaid. This is Homebodies. So this was actually a physical kit Brandi created for Feed Your Craft way back in 2016. And now she has it available digitally in her own shop called The Shiny Bits. And I'll be sure to link that down below. But it's definitely not outdated. It is pretty timely for what is going on right now. So I thought it would be perfect to use for this week's spread. There are cards, as you can see, 3x4 cards, as well as some little embellishments and some labels. And then there are 12x12 papers. So instead of printing those as papers, I have printed them as 4x6 cards. So I just, in Photoshop, cropped them down to 4x6 and printed them out as cards. So I also added a few extra labels and a few extra little embellishments. There is a stamp set that goes along with this kit, a digital stamp set. So I use that to create some additional embellishments. Yeah, so I am going to shut the camera off and trim all this out so that I can actually use it and then come back and hopefully finish up this spread. So I'm going to start by trying to figure out which of these photos I actually want to use on this spread, and I end up being pretty indecisive. I switch out quite a few as the process goes on, trying to figure out which ones I want. And what I end up doing is kind of going with a theme. So there were several food photos in this week's photos. There were some computer photos. There were lots of animal photos as usual. But there were also a bunch of nature photos that we took outside on the few times that we were able to get outside this week. And I end up going with mostly those. So I will switch out that top photo here in a second. But right now I'm going to start going through the cards and figuring out which of those I want to use on this spread. I really love that houses paper that I turned into a 4x6 card as the title card. So I'm going to leave that there and then start going through the 3x4 cards as well. And as you can see, I have two 3x4 photos in 4x6 pockets again. So I will need to either use a 4x6 card behind them, or if I decide to use a 3x4 card, which is what I end up doing for both of them, then I'll have to back it with something. So you'll see that coming up here in a second. I will use my usual trick of just using a 4x6 index card to join those together in the pocket. So here I am auditioning a different photo for that top pocket, just because there was already 3 animal photos on this spread, and like I said, I kind of like the idea of going with that nature theme, so I chose another outdoor photo for that one. And I added a card behind my coffee photo. It was one that said game night, and I knew I wouldn't use that this week. I probably wouldn't use it at all. I'm not a big fan of games. I'm not a very competitive person, and they kind of stress me out. So we don't have a lot of game nights. We do sometimes because Jesse likes them, but it's not my thing. So yeah, even if I do need to use it, it's a digital kit, so I can just print it out again, which is the beauty of using digital things. Okay, so I think everything is pretty much where it's going to stay now. I can start going through the little embellishments and picking out what I want to add. There are 3 colors of labels in this kit, and I'm going to use all 3. I'm actually going to use multiples of most of them, I think. I'm just figuring out where I want the colors to be to get a good balance of color and a good distribution of color across the page. And that is where some of my journaling is going to go. And then I can go through all of these little circle die cuts that were part of the kit, and then the ones that I created from the stamp set that was part of the kit, the digital stamp set. All of these I used a 1-inch punch to punch out, so that was super easy to get all of these cute little embellishments done. And I'm just kind of figuring out where they might work on the spread just to bring in a little bit extra embellishment to this page. Okay, so I've got it pretty much figured out kind of where things are going to go, I'm going to start by working on my title card. So I have a label there. That's where my date stamp is going to go. And I've chosen a set of thickers from my stash. This is an older one. I think it's from the Carousel collection. It's called Swing. It's a white and gold chipboard thicker. And I chose it because it's a very large, bold font, and I liked the little pop of shine that the gold added to this page, and they stood out well from the card, at least in person. It's harder to see them on the video, but in person they stand out really well from that 4x6 card. But of course, because they are chipboard thickers, I'm definitely going to have to add some additional adhesive, and especially because they are a bit older, they're already not even sticking to my thickers alignment tool. So I'm going to grab my fine line bottle, which has some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive inside of it, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the top of each of these letters and then stick them down on the page. And you can see like they're going to fall off already. Like they are not even sticking to this little plastic ruler. So I'm glad I went ahead and just added the adhesive right away, so that I don't have to worry about them falling off and having to redo this whole process later. So the alignment tool helped me get them spaced. It didn't really help me get them stuck down. I ended up having to stick most of them down individually, but at least it helped me get them spaced out and centered on that label. So next I'm going to grab my date stamp and add some dates to that little label, and I am using one that I actually picked up quite a few years ago from the Target Dollar Spot. And I chose it, I really like it because it has the date first and then the month. So I really like that format. So I'm going to use it to stamp out the full dates of both the beginning and ending days of this week. And then I left a good size space in between so that I can add the word to just with a gel pen. I'm just going to kind of handwrite that in cursive. And I did that because I thought it would kind of echo Brandi's handwriting, which is on several of the cards that I've chosen, kind of a scripty handwriting. So I thought that would kind of tie that in with my title card. Okay, so I've grabbed a 4x6 index card. This is how I'm going to get these two 3x4 cards to fit into a 4x6 pocket without moving around. I'm just adhering them down, and then I did not get them straight, and I don't think I trimmed my photos out very well. I end up having to trim around the outside of the card, and to get it straight, I just grabbed my little Fiskars guillotine trimmer, and I'm just going to trim the top and bottom to make sure that they have straight edges and that they all fit together and it doesn't look wonky. And then I'm going to use this little label to add some journaling, but I'm going to cut it in half and make it look like it's only on the photo, like it's running off the side of the photo. And then I am going to handwrite my journaling. I'm going to do that on all of the cards on this spread, and I don't make you watch all of my handwriting because you don't need to see that. And it took me quite a while to get all of the journaling written down on this spread, so I'm going to fast forward through most of those parts. So I'm moving on, adding this photo of a leaf that I found in my backyard. It's just a little leaf that I thought was beautiful, so I took a photo of it and added it to this Let's Nest card, and with a little house circle die cut as well. And then this is a photo of us on our daily walk. We try to take the dogs for a walk as often as we can, preferably at least once a day. It doesn't always happen, but we try. So we took this photo on one of our walks, and then I just added that little heart circle die cut to the top of the photo. Again, this one is a photo taken by Jesse. He was out hunting for morels on a neighbor's property, and he took a photo of some beautiful kind of, I don't know, rotting leaves, I guess, but it was a really pretty photo. There's a little mushroom in the photo, and yeah, anyway. And then, of course, my coffee photo I added to that pink card, and then I'm going to just do some journaling directly on this card, just like I did with the Let's Nest card, and then I added that little circle die cut that is of a coffee cup. That was one of the digital stamps that I made into a embellishment. So I decided to just punch out my spot circle from that journal card. It was a white journal card with that kind of orangey red My Spot circle on it, and it wasn't a perfect circle, so when I used my 1-inch punch to punch it out, it had some white space in some spots, and I decided just to kind of, you can't see me, I'm sorry that it's off camera, but I'm using a scissors to just kind of cut around the circle and make it a bit wonky and match the kind of hand-drawn circle that was on the original card. And it didn't turn out great, but you're not going to see most of it anyway because I'm going to layer it with this other circle that says cozy, and it's going to go kind of off the side of this card anyway. So yeah, so now I just basically created a little embellishment from that card since I didn't need the entire card, but I really liked that sentiment for this photo. Obviously, it's a photo of my cat, Nacho, sleeping on our bed, which he has been doing quite a lot lately. And then I can move on to the last pocket. Again, it's a 4x6 pocket, but I have 2 3x4 cards, so I'm going to add them to a 4x6 index card, just like I did at the top. And again, I'm going to have to trim it out because I just must not have done a great job of trimming either the photos or the cards, but nothing was lining up right. So just going to trim around the sides to make it look even and get rid of the extra white space that was there. So once I've done that, I'm going to add another little die cut that came in this digital collection that says Stay Cozy to the top of that card. And I did run it off the side of the card. And then I'm adding another little die cut that says Pants Optional, which I thought was pretty appropriate for these times. And then I'm just going to do some, again, handwritten journaling on this card. Just talking about how it's been nice to have lots of time to cuddle with the dogs. Especially Foxy. She's the one who likes to cuddle. Abby doesn't like to cuddle so much. Okay, so I'm going to finish off this spread with some chipboard hearts. These are super old pink and gold chipboard hearts from Studio Calico, from a super old kit. I don't even know how old, probably like 2014. And I'm just going to sprinkle those around the page. I'm going to use up quite a few of them, try and get a bunch of them used up. The pink matched the pink in this kit really well. And again, I liked that extra little bit of gold spread out across the page. And then I think the last thing I'm going to do is add some gold staples here and there just to give those white embellishments a bit more oomph, I guess, a bit more weight on the page. But I think I do that off camera, so you won't see me do that. I'm just going to take the adhesive backing off all these little chipboard pieces and stick them down, and then that's going to be it. So there are lots of close-up photos coming up. You can see all the details and read the journaling that I wrote if you so choose. As always, I will have everything I've used here linked down below in the description box, as well as links to my big picture classes class. If you haven't checked that out already, be sure to stop by there. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It lets me know that you like what I'm doing and that I should do more of it. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of my upcoming videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you back here soon.